Good morning, traders. Hope you guys are doing well. I just want to give an update here on Bitcoin. I think it's important to note, so I'm going to get into another chart here, but I was just playing around with some of this position size, and you guys pointed out a pretty helpful site, that Coin Farm site. I really kind of like those metrics. And keep in mind, it's just tracking one exchange, right, BitMEX. But that's still really helpful if most of the short players kind of in this market. I don't think a lot of people are trading the futures globally. I think a lot of the crypto community, when they want to play it short, they're using that BitMEX exchange. So it is very helpful to kind of track that positioning. So I was just playing around with that this morning, and I was noticing the low from the low from the 25th and 26th was actually not that big of a short skew, meaning that the shorts and difference between long and shorts was pretty balanced. But on the 29th, when we made the low intraday here, the short percentage was pretty high at 70%. And that same thing happened. You know, you've got a lot of YouTubers that we like to compete with that we're making these short calls that we were going to collapse to 5,000 and 3,000. Just really terrible timing. So the problem with the technical traders like that if they're not cyclical and they don't understand time, they just chase the red, they chase the price. They're not aware of the different cycles that are coming into play or the big picture levels. So you got to have a multi-factor and multi-duration um, model. And so anyway, so we did good taking profits the last time in the 6,800. Then we had this pullback here where the shorts were pretty crowded again, 73% into the low here on the 12th. And now it looks like the longs are back on top. But the key is that we're right back here at pi, guys, on the 4 hour. So this is shaping up to be a really key pivot. I was just highlighting that, you know, I don't have any buys on the like the GDAC exchange here on this chart because I was buying futures. So I was already taking I was buying and adding to my what I call my coin portfolio or the long side of my cash stuff. And then I was getting more aggressive on these lows and futures. We were buying below 6,000. So naturally, as we bounce, it makes sense to come out of some. And both times we made sales at 6,800, and that's the right move. If I kind of shrink this chart, um, so we got a nice double bottom here, but this is clearly the pivot, guys. Right at the market here. It's clearly the lower highs. Whoops. Sometimes this is clearly the lower highs right in here. So if we can get above pi, if we can break this resistance, drawing tool's pretty sensitive. Then there is a lot of room to run higher here, right? The next pivot's going to be right here, the intermediate term. So that's 7,800. Talked about that on our podcast. And then step back on the higher time frame, you're going to start to see. It's interesting. 7,800 is where, or sorry, 6,800 is where the bands are also on the daily. So let's take a hide the. And we'll look at the cycles. See, guys, that since we crossed the bands here on this real money candle, that kind of set in motion this latest intermediate term move down, right? But the cycle's low on the daily, still room for the RSI to come higher. You know, want to start booking more gains. But the bands rolled over here, okay, just like they did big picture up here. Um, and so that's going to be good for the market if we can start to gain some traction above the bands. definitely would be bullish. We can see the volume has just been absolutely dismal. Look at the average here in December, right? Look at this. Just even here in April and May, you had much bigger stacks of volume, and now it's just been quiet. All right, so I think you guys get that. Let's look at the point here cyclically. Cycle. All right, so where are we at here, guys? And as far as time, got another cyclical turn here, which this wave has been. This is the wave that marking all these turning points. You guys know I've been highlighting over and over and over again. The one starting from the high, this low, that high, this lower high, this low, on and on and on. So we got another turn here by 20th. Birthday. It's going to be a pretty key point in time here, guys. We've been talking about August, September as the long wave starts to turn back up. But even this weekly cycle is going to start to turn here July 2nd, 23rd. So we should be looking for some key turning points here around the TMS and around these pivots. Got it. Let's notice that we had lower highs here, had lower highs here, had lower high here. We had a turn here right into 10,000. So each one of these cycle lows has produced lower highs. And here basically had another lower high. So coming into the 20th, got today and 2 more days after. Will we get a fresh higher high above that 6,800 area? I think we've got a really good chance. Now, if that's the case and we start to break trend back up on this cycle, then there's good reason to think that we can continue higher price into this turning point, like at the beginning of August. And again, we got this wave, this cycle wave produced, didn't produce a turning point. So that means, guys, we should probably not see bigger picture uptrend until at least this next wave again is kind of right around the 22nd, 23rd. So this would be the week for us to turn. And that's why we really want to key off this 6,800 level. Okay. Get above there, then the market's going to start to wake up, start making some bigger picture calls. We can get a little bit more aggressive intraday. All that good stuff. All right. So I'll keep you guys posted. Hope that helps.